If something reaches you the way it always has, the same kind of sound, the same familiar tone that once pulled at your attention without asking, but this time it lands differently, you notice it before you understand it. Not because you blocked it. Not because you prepared. It arrives, pauses at the edge of awareness, and then nothing follows. No tightening. No internal shift adjusting to accommodate it. The moment passes without echo. What lingers is not relief, but a quiet strangeness, as if something that used to complete itself no longer needs to. Noise still exists. The world hasn't softened, but the way it reaches you has changed without announcement. You don't question it yet. You remain where you are, aware that something subtle has stopped asking for entry, and that awareness stays longer than the noise ever did. At first, it feels incomplete. A familiar impulse rises, the reflex to interpret, to respond, to reorganize yourself around what just happened. But the impulse doesn't finish its path. It fades halfway through, like a thought that forgets why it began. You don't stop it. You don't redirect it. It simply loses momentum on its own. This happens again and again. Small moments where reaction once unfolded automatically now dissolve before becoming anything at all. Not suppressed. Not overridden. Just unfinished. There is no effort holding this in place. No internal reminder telling you to stay unaffected. Nothing inside you is bracing or watching. Neutrality has replaced vigilance, not as a posture, but as a default. And somewhere in that quiet neutrality, you begin to sense that this is not a pause. It is a settling. There was a time when awareness stayed slightly extended outward. Even in rest, something listened. Something checked tone, timing, and consequence. Not anxiously, just constantly. Noise mattered because it still carried instruction. A word could redirect you. A silence could ask for interpretation. A reaction could reorganize your inner position without permission. That openness felt normal then. It felt like engagement, like participation. What you notice now is not strength replacing that openness. It is completion. The mechanism that once allowed noise to enter no longer activates, not because it is resisted, but because it has nothing left to do. Feedback arrives without authority. Information passes through without reorganizing you. This does not feel like protection. It feels like relevance quietly withdrawing. The openness did not close with force. It closed because nothing inside you still depended on it. The change reveals itself through what no longer happens. Fewer internal replays. Less commentary after interactions end. Fewer moments where you revisit tone, intent, or outcome. Things resolve themselves before becoming problems. You read something charged and feel no pull to agree or resist. A delay occurs and no narrative forms around it. Silence appears and remains untouched. Even your own thoughts feel different. They arise, comment briefly, and dissolve without recruiting attention. Nothing feels numbed. Nothing feels restrained. What's missing is not emotion. It's an escalation. And because nothing escalates, there is no need to intervene. This does not register as an improvement. It registers as subtraction. Something that used to carry weight simply no longer does. Urgency is used to confirm engagement. Without it, the system feels unfamiliar at first, almost too calm. Time still moves. Tasks still happen. Decisions are still made. But there is no internal countdown attached to any of it. Nothing feels late. Nothing feels ahead. Actions occur closer to when they are needed, without rehearsal or pressure. The future no longer leans forward, demanding preparation. The past does not pull backward, asking for reinterpretation. Expectation loosens, not because hope disappeared, but because it stopped organizing orientation. Moments arrive, are met, and pass without distortion. And within this unpressured flow, the boundary holds effortlessly, because nothing is rushing in to claim authority over where you are. Something else quiets alongside the noise. The need to explain yourself internally. The effort to maintain a coherent story across time. You still act. You still respond. But there is less narration attached to it. You say less, not from withholding, but because nothing extra is required. Preferences exist without defense. Choices happen without justification. Identity becomes functional rather than symbolic, present where needed, then released. This does not feel like a loss. It feels like relief from unnecessary maintenance. The boundary here is not separation from others. It is the absence of self-performance. And in that absence, engagement becomes lighter, clearer, more precise. You are involved without being entangled. Nothing about this state asks to be preserved. There is no insight to protect, no realization to carry forward. Life continues with familiar textures. Responsibilities appear and are handled. Interactions come and go. What's different is how easily you return to yourself afterward. How little residue remains. How naturally silence reappears without being sought. There is no moment where this needs to be acknowledged as an achievement. Stability replaces intensity as the indicator of completion. The boundary does not tighten here. It relaxes further. And in that relaxation, it becomes clear why noise no longer touches you. Not because you defend against it, but because nothing inside you still opens for it. Nothing more needs to happen. Nothing needs to be done from here. And because there is no demand, this state simply continues.